IMAP is another server. It functions in very much the same way as POP. IMAP and POP together make up pretty much the entirety of the mailbox software servers. It can do a few things POP can't, which is why it exists. It can manage to hold messages a little bit more easily, and it can store them in directories, and it can do a lot of other things. But the important thing to note about IMAP, the reason it exists or is any good at anything, is that it can hold messages for a specific sort of criteria. If you download messages and you want them to be held on the server, it'll do that. If you want them to be held on the server for 1 month, it can do that. If you want it to hold the messages on the server until 5 specific people download them, it can do that. It can store them forever in a directory. It can do a lot of things that POP can't, which makes it a little bit more desirable for sort of a group, like if you have 2 or 3 people using the same email box, it's probably the choice over POP. So what happens when the SMTP server hands off the message? Well, it's pretty much as simple as SMTP hands the message to POP or IMAP, if that's the server that's being run, and the server will then put the email at the end of the mail file and then wait for a connection from the client for that mail file. So for our example of John Doe, POP knows where that mail file is, and it will attach that message, header, body, and everything, to the bottom of the mail file, and it will sit there conceivably forever until somebody dials in and downloads it. When the client connects to the POP or IMAP server, for the case of POP, it will generally just take the file, download the entire contents, and once it's determined that the client has acquired the file, the POP server will just completely expunge the mail file. And it's mostly because POP, being as old as it was designed to pretty much put the mail in a sequential sort of, the first mail that comes is the first mail in the list, and each subsequent one is popped onto the bottom. So it really isn't built to dynamically manage the mail. It's not really meant to say hold a mail that any mail that came in Thursday and everything Monday through Wednesday get rid of. It's not effective at that, but it delivers it quickly, and once it's done, it expunges the mail file. Any email that should come in after that will start a new mail file, and again, subsequent email to that will then be appended to that file. IMAP's different. It's more complicated. It is more capable of managing any extra email that comes in, and if you want to save the email, it is capable of saving the email. It'll flag it if one person has downloaded it so that they won't have to download it again. It's got a lot of options that POP doesn't, and it's a little bit more capable, and probably better for some applications than POP, which is still probably very effective for a single user environment. Mail servers are present in both the mailbox managing software and the client applications. We'll look a little bit at client application mail files, but it's important to realize that mail files are sort of an old concept and aren't really built to be extraordinarily secure. As a result, they're pretty much plain text. Most mail software clients or servers take the mail sequentially as it arrives and appends it to the file. So when you open up a mail file, say in Notepad, you can pretty much see the order in which they came, and depending on how good the client software, server software is at formatting it, you can probably get a pretty good handle on what's contained in the mail file simply by going through Notepad, and we'll look at that a little bit later. So in this section, we are going to break down and see what information is to be found in the email header. The large part of email forensics is concerning the headers. It has most of the tracking information. If it's a reliable email, you have who sent it, who it was meant for, the time and date that it was sent, and some of the information about what servers it bounced through. The most information, aside from the actual body of the email, is in the header, and pretty much every client that exists, including web-based email, will have the full headers available to you. So really quickly here, I'm going to take a second to show you how to get a few headers on some of the more popular email clients. So you've got Outlook Express. Basically, the method that you want to do is you want to go to a message and then click on File and Properties, and this is the header right here. And then for Thunderbird, what you want to do is open up the message, click on View, Headers, and then All Headers. And here you have that. And lastly, Gmail has full headers available. If you go to the message, you can have it show the original, and there you have the full header for that, and all of the other information, including the body of it. So that's the original of the message. So I'm going to point out a few pieces of information that we can get from the header that are very important. The header can be very dense, and not all of the information is particularly helpful, but the very important pieces are the from line. There will always be a from line, although it won't always be accurate. There will be a to line. This is the line that indicates who the message is meant for. It is used by SMTP and POP to direct the message where it belongs. There will be a lot of date information, when the message was sent, when it was received, by whom it was received, if it was forwarded. A lot of that information can be very helpful. And then, of course, there will be the subject and the body when looking at the entire full source document that contains headers and delimiting